Some of you will remember the exercise I once led you through. I think it was last year, some Sunday morning. I asked each of you to take a moment to return to the day in your memories that you first came to this church, what it felt like, what you were looking for, what you needed. And I see some heads nodding, so I definitely didn't make that sermon up. Okay. Sometimes I do that. Okay. Yeah. It was a great moment. Thank you. It is a good thing to recall that moment. Afterwards, many of you shared with me what came to mind. And I'm sorry to tell you that what you shared makes you utterly ununique from other churches and places of worship. The particularities are, of course, different and unique to you, but the overarching themes are the same. And this gives me the confidence to speak in some universals right now. People come to church for a sense of belonging and community, and they come to church for spiritual solace, meaning-making, transformation. That's it. Every ministry, I think many of you know this, every ministry that exists in this church and drives us to live out our faith in the community, in the world, is bound to these tenets, right? In fact, as a helpful exercise, you could apply this measuring stick to every endeavor, every event, every plan, initiative, leadership role, or wacky offering around here to gauge its success. Does it nurture belonging, true belonging, and community? Is it spiritually deepening, meaningful, speaks to our deepest values? The churches and faith communities that are growing and vibrant and thriving have figured out how to partner those two things in all matters. Deep sense of belonging and community, hefty spiritual deepening and meaning-making in all things. As your pastor, I take these needs very seriously. And I know you do too. You take these needs and longings seriously. And I spend a lot of time thinking about how to meet these needs. How do we do this? And applying that measuring stick to all that I try to do here. And especially, I think a lot about how we share in this. For no one, certainly not me alone, can do this. Of course not. Or build this. It is impossible. That would be impossible. The answer to how to do this, how do you meet these needs, is simple. Center in your gifts. Center in your gifts. Now, these words, center in your gifts, they come from Mech Groot. And Mech served as a UUA regional leader and even worked with this congregation on several occasions. Some of you know Mech. She recently retired from this long and beautiful tenure in our faith, but at one of my colleagues' recent installations offered wise words about centering in gifts as the charge to the congregation that afternoon. And I'm going to offer some of them to you now, of course, with her blessing. She asked, "Why center in your gifts? Why? Because no one gets a greater sense of their value and place in a community, no greater sense of their worth and dignity than when their gifts are acknowledged, affirmed, and received in community. The free and generous exchange of our gifts is a basic human longing, and a community that centers in gifts is more likely to be experienced as beloved, hence the thriving. In a community that is beloved, everyone experiences belonging, purpose, meaning, value. So that's why we center in gifts. Now for the what and the how. Okay. All right, this is what Meck said. What does it mean to center in your gifts? It begins by taking your genius seriously. Yes, your genius. Yours and yours and yours and yours and yours, friends at home. Your genius. Something you do so naturally, you might not even think of it as your gift. Of course, there are the obvious talents. For example, people who sing or play music, like angels. Those who organize events around here as easily as a duck swims. Or those who can create and manage a complicated Excel chart in their sleep. This congregation's life and longevity, its ability to offer belonging and spiritual deepening, depend on these obvious gifts, and there are so many more. And these gifts are worthy and they are glorious. But there are other gifts here too. The unidentified gifts, the hidden talents. For example, there are people with a gift for deep listening, and those who encourage others quietly from the sidelines, those who know how to make people feel at home and at ease. There are those who are genius at fixing things and genius at growing things. There are those who love research and they love keeping records. Those who bring humor and spark insight. There are those who mediate conflict and those who bring comfort. Oh, the comfort in times of grief. In this sanctuary, and I'm including all of you zooming in from home and those whose gifts make the zooming possible, in this sanctuary right now. These are Meck's words, but I feel them deeply in my heart and I mean them when I say them. In this sanctuary right now are gifts both recognized and unrecognized, and they are glorious. You are glorious. Each of you has treasures within you, and those treasures are hoping you will bring them forth. And this is what church is for. This is what church is for. Bringing those treasures forth takes the whole community. Gifts need to be recognized and they need to be affirmed. You need to know what your gifts are. And you need to know everyone else's gifts too. If you can't identify your gifts, my friends, it's the responsibility of the community to help you with that. It is the responsibility of the community to support you to deliver those gifts. It is the responsibility of this community to ensure those gifts are received within or beyond our congregation. Amen. Hear this. When you are centered in your gifts, I didn't want to skip a page. I've done that before, but these are important pages. Okay. When you are centered in your gifts and sharing in your ministries, you will tap into joy. Take that in. What? You will tap into joy. You will feel spiritually deepened. You will feel connected. And this joy and spiritual deepening and connectedness will spark resilience and wonder and presence and hope and healing. And I say, watch out, world, when all those are happening. Watch out. And that is what church is for. Watch out, world. We got hope, and we got joy, and we got resilience. But listen, this does not mean you don't ever have to do the things you don't feel like doing. Listen, even great painters need to clean their brushes. That's a Met Groot. Even great painters need to clean their brushes. Dishes still need washing and trash needs taking out, so take your turn. Take your turn. Do the maintenance tasks that allow your gifts and the gifts of others to flourish and flow. But keep your gifts centered and take care of them, lest they get trampled or you burn out. Protect your gifts. My call to ministry is a long story because all the ministers, we all have the long, complicated call stories. But I want to offer you the uncomplicated, where the rubber met the road part of the story. 12 years ago, I was welcomed into a 500-plus person church by people who treated me as if I was the most blessed gift to the community. That was their genius. And me, oh my, does that genius exist here? The welcoming geniuses, right? And these welcoming geniuses whispered my name to other geniuses, the gifted hosts who seemed to carry around satchels of invitations to all the parties, and the geniuses of recruiters and planners and implementers and communicators, and all the asks flooded in. And the geniuses on the sidelines, blessed be the geniuses on the sidelines, who lovingly whispered to me, "Do only what you're called to do. You get to say no." And the geniuses of worship, blessed be the geniuses of worship, who week after week gave me a place to rest and receive and just be. While the geniuses of RE, blessed be the geniuses of RE, took care of my young daughters. All of these geniuses, the community, helped me to discover my gifts. Ultimately, my call to ministry was born out of these discoveries. Each of you has treasures within you, both recognized and unrecognized glory, Met Groot tells us. You are a ruby embedded in granite. How long will you pretend it's not true? Speaks Rumi. That quote's on the top of your order of service. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, so says the spiritual. The world offers itself to your imagination over and over, announcing your place in the family of things, says our poet Mary Oliver. It is the responsibility of this spiritual community to support you in discovering and delivering your gifts. And I will tell you, this parish is grounded in so much love and care and giftedness. True genius. You take my breath away, and every day I thank my Creator for finding my way here with you. And you are growing. You are growing. Many of you are realizing you don't know everyone's names anymore. Yeah. Think about how many new, unidentified gifts are here in our midst right now. And we need the gifted matchmakers and genius finders and name whisperers to step up. We need your genius right now because we are growing. But beloveds, and I hope you hear this and take this in, please stop saying yes to the things that are burning you out, making you feel disconnected and spiritually snuffed. That's burnout. That's burnout. Stop. This is a church. This is not your workplace, and I'm sorry if your workplace has asked that of you. We're not asking that of you here. Tell others that you need help. This is so important. Someone right now needs more than anything to be asked by you for help because they need to feel useful and trusted and valued, and they need a place to cultivate and bring their gifts. That's why they are here. Their genius and treasure longs to be expressed. Your hell no might be their hell yes. Blessed be to that. And I'm going to say something bold now. If nobody has the gift for it, the genius for it, if no one is stepping up to do it, it's time to let it go. Lovingly lay it to rest. Be faithful. Do not be faithless. We will find our way through. We will apply the measuring stick. Wisdom tells me that it's probably a ministry that isn't offering a deep sense of belonging or much spiritual heft anymore. That's why no one wants to do it. Time to make some changes. Let us not be afraid. Where are our creative visionaries that can help us stand at a different angle and do some brave, big new things? Who's got that genius? Let's call upon them. Let's call upon them. Offered in balance, received in balance, shared in balance, you will feel great joy. You will feel connected. You will feel spiritually fed. I made that promise to you when I said yes to you, to make sure that I felt joy in my heart, connected, spiritually fed. That is my gift to myself and to you. Amen. And that is what church is for, that each of you take that promise seriously as well. So I want to circle back to the patron saint of Unitarian-Universalism, Mary Oliver, and her prayer for us this morning. Let's let her have the last word, shall we? Wild geese, you do not have to be good. You do not have to walk upon your knees. for 100 miles through the desert, repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. May it be so for us all, and amen.